What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Apex the Podcast. The boys are here. We are ready to go. Obviously, like everybody knows, Weeps is in his grind right now. We checked in on him, made sure everything was all good. He is actually skipping out
Number
on
2.
like fucking family time for Thanksgiving, Christmas. He's going straight into the grind. He's grinding his ass off. You got to tip your cap to that. He's giving it his all. Like that's what you ask for in these situations. If you get a chance, I think the Eminem song says something about getting a chance and taking it. I don't remember the exact words because I don't listen to Eminem a lot, but I do know that it was something along those lines. He's taking his chance. He's running with it. You got to tip your cap to that. So Wheats isn't here today. Me and Enoch, but we do have a banger interview coming up here. How is actually? We should probably address the fact that there's a deer on the wall and I look like in a completely different room. I am at my dad's house right now because I just moved over the weekend. Still no baby yet, but we did move, and the internet that I got sucks right now. So I tried to get everything set up at the new place, and the internet was just not having it for me. So I drove over to my dad's house real quick to record this. That deer has been on that wall since I was a wee little lad. So he's always chilled there. He's always been there.
So huge shout out to Papa Bab.
Yeah, huge shout out to my dad for allowing us here. And yeah, so that is where we are at right now. It's actually really late and he wants to go to bed. So we're gonna make this a little bit faster than normal. And also the interview is long.
The interview
as shit,
is fire.
And it's awesome.
Interview's fire.
So we want to get
really
to
great.
that.
No, like probably one of our best that we've done on the show. Like we say that every now and then, but like it was good stuff. Like it was overall just great
content.
Great pod. It was a great pod. It was great content.
Pod. Yeah. Before we get into that though, how's your week been? How are you feeling?
It's been good. The grind's been good. Been doing multi-stream for a little bit. I think I'm gonna go back to just doing streaming on Twitch and then streaming on Kick after, and seeing how that goes. Just because the multi-stream itself, it hasn't panned. I mean, obviously it's like super early, but it just doesn't seem like much of a point at this time, just with how things are going. But always could give it more time. But it's been good. It's building season, and I'm excited to put in the work. I'm excited to grind. I'm thankful that I get to surround myself with people who I enjoy their company and get to play a game that I genuinely enjoy for the most part. I mean, because and when it comes to FPS, like I've always been an FPS guy, and the fact that I get to wake up and have a positive impact on people, and then get to play a video game as a means for me to be able to do that, it's cool. And so if I'm just more that's cool. I'm here,
That is cool.
And so it's been good. What about you?
Dude, that is cool. So I'm in a conundrum. No baby yet. I thought that the due date was the 11th. And so I'm like, oh, okay, baby's going to be here by the 11th. Well, I guess the 11th was the date given by the ultrasound tech. The actual day was the 17th. So now I'm in a conundrum because I told the guy from the hockey program that most likely the baby was going to be here, so I couldn't broadcast the game. And now the baby's coming on next week's game, and I feel like he thinks that I'm just going to be ditching out on him. But also I'm having a baby, so should I even care? And also I don't get paid, so should I even care? I just do it because I love the game and I just want to do it.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm going to be honest. You should give zero fucks about missing
out on the.
But also, no, you should not give a single. No, you should not give a single fuck. I mean, you were working off of the information that you were given.
Yeah.
And your wife just simply didn't give birth.
Yeah.
It's not your fault.
That's true. That is true.
I don't if the club hockey coach is going to give you shit as a volunteer.
You make great points.
Yeah. If he does that, he can go fuck himself. Let's just be honest.
Yeah,
and
you make
you're gonna be there for the birth of your child.
Yeah, I'm not gonna
fuck the game.
Imagine if I went to that game, missed the birth, and we lost 16-1. How that's not going to be great, right? So
Dude,
that was my
imagine if
conundrum.
you win. It's still not going to be great.
Yeah, no matter what. Yeah, you're right. I was just thinking
It
of
could be the
the
best.
worst.
It could be the best hockey game you've ever watched in your life,
It's still not. Yeah, it's the
and it's
child.
still not going to.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. I didn't even think of it that way. I hate
What do you mean
disappointing
you're in a
people.
conundrum?
I don't know, dude. I feel bad. I'm just like, damn, I already told him I was going to be gone for this one. Now I'm going to tell him I'm going to be gone for this one. So I felt bad. But yeah, you're right. I'm stupid. I'm actually so dumb. But yeah, no. So no
You're
longer a
not. You're
conundrum.
not because hey, you just can't talk about my friends like that in front of me.
Yeah, yeah. No,
You
I
just
got you.
can't.
I
So
got
you
you.
you can't be doing that.
Yeah, I got you.
Especially following your dog shit tweet. Which you're
Yeah,
welcome because
yeah.
I almost replied. I almost was about to
Dude,
talk shit to you on. I was about to say
no, I'm
terribly. I was about to tweet
slingshotting.
that, but then I was like, I won't put him on blast.
No, I don't give it. Honestly, dude,
So I was like, let me just message.
that was such a dumb tweet, and I do appreciate everybody who did reply because I was like, I barely remember tweeting it. So it was like a late night thing. I did it like, and then I woke up the next day and I was like, why do I have so many notifications? And it was all there. It was a couple beers tweet. And so I like looked at it. I was like, oh shit, oh shit. And then lots of positivity came from it, but also like, that's just like, I'm just in too good of a situation to be thinking that way. And even if I wasn't, it's all about your attitude that carries you into whatever you're going to do next. And I've just consistently like had trouble maintaining the positive attitude, but I'm trying. I'm trying my ass off. It's just
Well, yeah.
sometimes it just
One,
gets
I'm
hard.
grateful as fuck. Two, you literally you have a family.
Yeah.
Three,
Yeah.
you're about to have a child.
It's all bad. It's just dude, this is
You
a
just you
tough
gotta
start
you
to
gotta
the
get a grip.
podcast for me,
You just
dude.
you
This is
just
a
gotta
tough
grip.
start.
You gotta get a grip.
I'm all over the place. No, I did text you back though. I was slingshotting because the next day I moved, and the place I moved into is such a blessing, and it's really gonna help me and my family out. And I started. It was such a blessing. I literally, as I was moving in, I went to the bathroom and I just shut the door and I just prayed, and I was just like, I'm so thankful. I need to be more thankful for what I have and stop comparing. I don't even know if I'm comparing. I guess I feel like I should be further along than what I am, but it's not like I haven't worked for it. Like I've done all the things I needed to do. If I'm not quite there yet, I'm not quite there yet. I just need to. I don't know. I'm all over the place.
Everybody's on a different path.
Yeah,
Everybody's on
yeah,
a different path. Don't be comparing your path to other people's paths. Just compare you to where you've been, and then just keep on getting better, and then just like use that as like a motivator for you to do better. But not you can't allow that to be the thing that you allow to be the to like center your negative emotion on of like, oh, I'm so mad at myself for not being like, because everybody, regardless of where you at, you could be doing so much better
yeah,
regardless. Anybody who's like in your mind who you view as doing 10 times better than you, they could still be doing better. And so why like just focus on you, do your thing. And like you've already done so much. Like you don't give yourself enough credit for
I
everything you've
don't.
done.
I truly don't.
And you don't.
Yeah, a tough start to the pod for me. Like I said, dude. Like I'm
I
getting
mean, no,
worried about
this is
like
a real start
like
to the
a club
pod.
hockey
This is
team.
just a
And then
it's a
now,
real start to the pod.
and now I got the tweet coming back up to surf. Dude, tough start. Tough start. But I'm on the slingshot right now. I'm on the slingshot. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling blessed. I'm feeling just overall happy with a lot of things. And I don't need to. I mean, my internet sucks so bad. I had to drive over to my dad's house. There's plenty of reasons for me to be upset, but I'm not. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling great. Not a whole lot of Apex stuff here, ladies and gents, this week. Not a whole lot. I'm going to be honest. We are waiting for so many details to come out for ALGS Year 4. There's slight things here and there, some of which we'll talk about, some of which we won't. The first thing, there was a high ping versus low ping debate on Twitter. People arguing about it. Is this do we need to break this down? Can I get an Enoch breakdown on high ping versus low
Okay,
ping?
so I believe we have had a high ping versus low ping breakdown
Very
previously,
early on, I think.
but I will get back into it as it is a hot topic that is resurfacing. And so the way that ping works is that the lower the ping is, like the faster like everything registers. And so when you're at LAN, everybody's at LAN and they're all playing on 0 ping. It's as as good of a functioning quality of Apex possible at LAN. But when you're playing online, there's always the difference of ping depending on where your internet is, like where you're living in regards to the servers and the strength of your internet. And so majority of people will typically play from any, depending on where their closest server is, between like 30 to like 70 ping on their home server. And so typically, like, it's not too crazy. In Fortnite, it would matter way, way, way more. Like, ping Fortnite mattered way more in terms of like taking boxes and stuff. It's not as big of a deal in Apex. But when it comes into like the high ping versus low ping, is when you're a low ping player and you're fighting against somebody who's on, say, 200 ping, what's registering on your screen versus what's registering on their screen is different. And so when you're fighting somebody who's on high ping, and so it's like, say I'm challenging somebody, when I'm looking at them and I'm shooting them and I'm taking damage from them, I'm registering, like, the damage is registering late for me because they're on high ping. And so when I'm challenging them and I realize that I get hit for 100, or say like I get hit for 150, and then I make the decision of like, okay, I need to stop peeking. On their screen, I'm going to be up longer than I am on mine because their ping is higher than mine. And so when it comes to peeking and fighting in Apex, you do have an issue of over challenging as a result of them being on higher ping, and all of the damage taking, like, the damage hits you late, and then also has like a almost hitting you all at once type of effect. And so it can be a very unenjoyable experience, especially when you're playing on low ping and you're going around a lobby and you don't know whether or not the team that you're going to be fighting is a low ping team, is it going to be a high ping team. At this point in Apex, at the highest ranks, we might as well be playing, like, we've made the joke that NA is APAC West, which is like the APAC like West region, just because all of the people that are playing on it are from APAC North and South, but it's like the West server. And it's just because the cheating situation is so bad in these areas, and it's pretty bad in NA, but it's so bad in there that a lot of the players will come and play on NA servers. And so the majority, like, I'll go an entire game of playing Apex and I will not fight a single person from North America. They're all like high ping. And I don't know, like, I've definitely, Apex has been at a point where it's like been straight up like you will not see anybody who's from NA. I don't know if it's that bad at this point, but it sure is getting pretty close. And it really is deriving from the lack of anti-cheat and enforcement of like banning cheaters, just because like it's so bad in these regions. There's not enough people taking care of it for whatever reason. For whatever reason, Respawn and EA have not made the decision to make those investments in terms of hiring more people to deal with this problem, or just getting a better anti-cheat. And so it's a situation. And so NA players are saying like high ping is an advantage because you have that aspect. High ping players are saying that, okay, well, when you're playing on high ping, there's a whole lot of negatives that you have to deal with, which is true. Like, it's an unenjoyable experience for both players. Ideally, there would be a soft region lock implemented where like people would still be able to like cross-play with people across regions if they wanted to and they queued up with them. But it would cut down on the amount of full region teams playing on different servers to avoid cheaters. Because ideally, everybody would be able to play on their own server and you wouldn't have this ping like distortion taking place. But that is the state of Apex Legends currently. And unless you got anything to say, we can move on to the next topic. Shout out Father Babs.
Yeah, shout out Dad. No, that was actually a perfect explanation, and I haven't ran into it obviously, so I won't have much to say even if we did have time anyway. But I do think that was a really good breakdown for anybody trying to figure out why people are arguing on the Bluebird app. But that is definitely a conversation to have. We did have it, like I said, in a very early episode. Enoch kind of broke it down the same way, and then Finn chimed in a little bit as well with it. So weird instance right now because just the circumstance, but definitely something to take note, definitely something to look forward to. Doesn't really affect LGS at all. Like you said, they're all on zero ping, their land, so doesn't really matter. I guess it only matters in the playoff, like the group stages before you actually get to a LAN, kind of, but not really, because a lot of those players are usually from the same region. A lot of them live in similar places. So that is that. Moving on to the final thing I have before we get into this interview. Post Malone LTM. Last week you hadn't played it yet, and it's incredible. Post Malone is actually playing it right now on Twitch with a bunch of other content creators, streamers, whatever it may be. I think Timmy's on his team. Have you gotten a chance to play it yet, E?
I've dabbled. I haven't played it extensively. I've dabbled in a little bit. It's super fun. The overall consensus is that it's one of the best things that have happened to Apex from a casual standpoint. It's an incredible, fun way to play the game, and I would highly recommend it to each and every single one of you guys out there.
Dude, so the question now for me becomes like, so what Connor, he sent me over a breakdown of what we could talk about here today, and he put in the thing, should it be a perma mode? And I thought about it, I was like,
100%
nah.
should be a perma
At first
mode.
I said no. I was like, you know what, they have mixtape, they can bring it back every 2 weeks for a little bit. And then I started to think like, there's no reason this should not be a perma mode. Like when I think logically, the logical answer early when they were talking about putting in different modes was, oh, it would split the player base up too much between casuals, ranked, and whatever else they put in. Well, now they've put in mixtape, right? So it's like, all right, so now they're okay with splitting it up a little bit. But this one, I'm gonna say something crazy. I would rather see this in there than mixtape. And I was a big advocate of mixtape for a long time. But what mixtape does, this game mode does as well. Like it gets you like a lot of engagements all the time so that you can practice and hone in on your skill. And in my opinion, it does it in a much more fun way because when I have control, I hate it. When I have team deathmatch, I'm having a good time. And when I have gun run, it's still fun because there's an objective, but also I don't get to use the weapons I want to use to like work on and get better with. Same thing with team deathmatch. At least in this game mode, I can mess around with some other weapons. Some weapons you're probably not going to want to use if you're going to try to like successfully win each and every game. But I do think that this mode, if it replaced mixtape, I would not bat an eye. There'd probably be some people out there upset. Maybe
Work
just
it
leave
into
it in.
mixtape.
Huh?
Just work it into mixtape as a rotating game mode.
That's what I thought
Why
as
not?
well. But at the same time, I'd be like, dude, just leave it in and keep mixtape in as well. I think that would be, honestly, I think it'd be so fun. I think it'd be the best way to do it. Even if you changed casuals to something like that, and then you made ranked like its own mode, kind of in a way. Um, Anything to keep this mode in. I'm I am not objecting to anything that they do. If they were to put this mode in instead of casuals, like casual is no longer a thing. There's no casual BR. It is now just LTM, three strikes, and then ranked and mixtape. I would take that. As crazy as that sounds, I would take that. If there was no casual way to play the BR and you only had to play ranked or three strikes and mixtape, I would do it. I would do it. As crazy as it sounds. They need to find a way to make this a perma mode. Post Malone saved the video game. Shout out Post Malone. Okay, ladies and gents, that should just about do it for the early part here. We're gonna throw it on down to our interview with Scrappy. Scrappy, hey, this guy, he's got a different mindset about this whole content creation thing. He's got a different mindset about just about everything. He is also the number one Loba on this podcast. That is
100%.
100%
Number one
correct.
Loba, undisputed. Get out of here if you think otherwise.
Undisputed.
Get out of here.
He is our number one Loba. We're
Find
gonna
a
throw it on
different
down to
podcast.
him. Lots of great lifestyle stuff. Lots of great like just things to think about. And we go into some tangents here about cheating. We go into some tangents about just everything. It gets deep, but we love Scrappy. We're gonna have him back on in the future here for sure. Let's hit a quick ad and throw it on down to Scrappy. All right, here we are, ladies and gentlemen, with content creator Scrappy here joining us. Some are saying he is the greatest Loba of all time. It's really up to you. It's up to your interpretation. Scrappy, how is that a Loba tattoo?
Yeah.
Let's go.
Might as well show that off real early.
That is
Get that up to the
commitment.
camera. That is sick.
And
That is sick. That is so
Number
cool.
one Loba, baby. Number one Loba.
That is certainly, if you're listening on the pod, I mean, if you're listening on the Audible only, a reason to go to the YouTube right there,
Yeah,
ladies and gentlemen.
you gotta check out the Loba
Oh, is
tech.
this on YouTube right now?
You
You
gotta
guys
check
stream
out
live
that.
to YouTube?
No, not on YouTube right now, but like we upload it to YouTube.
We uploaded to
as
YouTube.
well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right now it's just recording.
Okay.
Yeah, no, that. I mean, that might as well make you the number one Loba. The dedication you have to
Solidifies me,
even
exactly.
get her tattooed on your skin. But man, how are you doing, my friend?
Doing great. I think I'm doing better than ever at this point of my life. So I'm doing good. How are you guys?
Oh, we're hanging. We're chilling. We are feeling super, super good. I wanted to kick it off here with the Loba thing and kind of get into the genesis of it because for a lot of people and a lot of your followers, that may be your claim to fame is like he is the number one Loba out there, always using Loba. Can you kind of describe like what was the draw to Loba for you and like what was it her kit? Was it other parts? What was the draw to the character?
Oh, you're foul.
I get that a lot, obviously, yeah. Well, back in season 5, I was in college. I think my junior year of college, and prior to, I guess I'll explain the whole genesis. Prior to season 5, that's when she came out. I had seen a lot of other people kill grind new legends at that point, and it was really good for their socials and whatnot. And so I took it upon myself in season 5. After I grinded rank in season 2, 3, and 4, I was on console at that time, by the way. I think for season 5, it was just kind of like, how far can I take this whole kill grinding thing? I had no clue about what she looked like. I didn't know what abilities she had because I wasn't involved in the community at all whatsoever. I just really played the game. And then she came out in season 5, and I've just grinded her since. So it was really, when people ask me that question, as to how it all started, I just wanted to kill grind, and it just so happened to be in season 5 when she was coming out. Had it been season 6, I would have been a Rampart kill grinder, which I probably would have given that one season and quickly stopped right after. But
that's fair.
But with Loba, I did see a lot of potential in her, as you guys probably might know. She was pretty rough to play up until season 9 when she got that huge buff. And so I just decided to grind her out. It gave me something to do during college that was a little bit more, or I should say less stressful than rank grinding all the time. And it allowed me to bring the entertainment aspect to my stream, since I'm just focusing on kill grinding and whatnot. And that's kind of where it all started way back when. And I think it was May 2020. Yeah, May 2020 is when it all started.
So that leads to another question for me because now that I'm starting to think about it, you mentioned that she was rough on launch. She wasn't rough on launch, dude. Like she was rough for seasons because her tactical was basically useless on certain maps and at certain times. You'd go to throw it, it wouldn't work, and you stuck through it through all of that. Like how was it grinding through like the dark days of Loba? Because she was bad for a while.
Yeah, it was rough. I can't lie. So there's 2 parts to that question. I do remember in season 5 we got the new version of Kings Canyon, so I think they made us stay on that map for like 2 weeks, and it was flawless. She was obviously just a weak character in and of herself, but as soon as World's Edge came in season 5, that's where the bugs started to happen a little bit, and then we see that a lot throughout the next several seasons. And then season 8 was the roughest season ever, where her bracelet was failing like 30% of the time. And it was rough, and I pulled my hair a lot. I freaked out a lot on stream, but that also brought in more viewers towards my stream as well, because who is this kid screaming and raging all the time about his bracelet or about his teammates or whatever? And so I was able to play into it a little bit. So as bad as it was, if she were to be perfectly okay since launch, I think I still would have probably had the same success, but I don't think I would have raged as much. And I think that's why a lot of people watched me way back when, was because of that rage value they got out of it, which some people seem to find pretty hilarious. But it was rough. I can't lie.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie.
You played her Enoch a little bit too.
Yeah,
you remember.
I did. I was the 1K and then done, and I think I one clipped it, and I did just like I think it was like 36 hours straight that I played, and I was like
crazy.
#1 on PC, and then I was keeping up with it a while. Vatra, I think I held it until I left for the weekend, and then Vatra was just going crazy, And then when
Was
I
he
came
doing
back,
it too?
yeah, he was doing it too. Vetro was like an OG Loba grinder as well. And then when I came back, I like as you said, like she was decent, but like she was far from like being a great legend. And the hitbox,
Right.
I was a former Wraith player, and so I played a couple games on Wraith, and I was just let me see how it is, and I was like, oh wow, because like going from like a Loba hitbox to Wraith hitbox, it's just like not even close.
It's different.
How much smoother everything is from a Wraith, and so then I walked away from my. I grabbed the 1K and then I was off, and I was very thankful that I did not even think about playing Loba since I stopped playing. Did you do that with
Rampart too?
Yeah, I did the Rampart. I did Rampart in I think 33 hours, because like for Loba I was only first PC because I think a PS4 kid beat me on the Loba grind, but I was first all platform on Rampart, and that was
those days, bro.
Dude, those were days. The kill grinding days, yeah, those were just fun. I mean, just running down pubs.
That's when you were grinding back then, huh?
100%.
I've known of you for a long time, obviously, because of the Loba grind, and to see where you're at now. I guess everybody really. I mean, that was
it's been a come up for everybody. It's been cool.
It's been interesting to see, but yeah. So long answer, yeah. It was dark times back then, and in season 8, a lot of Loba mains stopped playing. A lot of people that were comparing themselves in skill to me, or that were grinding maybe close to kills with me as well. A lot of them in general just stopped playing in season 8, and I can't blame them. But I had nothing else to do. I was in college, wasn't gonna quit. I knew they had to fix it. It's just crazy that they waited 90 days in season 8 to essentially give us a fix, which they kind of gave to us as like a buff, almost like, oh, we finally fixed your character's bracelet in season 9, and on top of that, we got rid of the the slowdown when you teleported. But it was wrong. They've always done Loba mains wrong with the heirloom, with her buffs, with her nerf, some nerfs along the way, and with the bugs. It's been rough, but I mean,
I will say it's grit. I mean,
yeah.
I always say that when Apex is at its worst, right? Those who like put in the work during that time are going to reap the rewards. And so like yours is like legend specific. When you have the dark days of this legend is just horrible and makes me want to tear my hair out. But everybody who else is like competing against you, they're having to deal with it too. And so you just, you dealt with it the best, and then you reap the rewards. And so are you still technically number 1 Loba, or has somebody on PS4 passed you yet on that? And I did see that you tweeted that you were going back to PS4. Is that true? And if so, bro, how can you go back to playing on a console after playing on consistent frames PC?
The way that I'll explain it to you guys, you'll understand. But to answer the first one, I'm not the number 1 Loba on one platform. When it comes to kills, Enoch, if you're number 1, it's specific to one platform that gets the title.
Yeah.
So I have 123,000 kills on Loba. I lost it obviously because I've been on PC since February of last year, up until the last 5 days that I switched to console. I have 25,000 on PC, so technically, kind of, if you're like Term K and you combine the two, technically I'm still number 1. But
okay,
I look at it
we'll combine the two for sure. For this podcast, this POV will give you the number 1 Loba title if you have 100%. Because like if you're gonna get into the technicality of like, oh, it's only on this platform, I mean that's just, if you have to use that, if you have to justify it, you already have to know that like you're wrong.
That's good. My whole community roasts me for forever because I playfully call myself the number 1 still, and they'll be like, actually, you're 100%. So I need the Scrapyard to hear what 100%. Enoch and White are saying. Fuck you guys. Tired of you guys. I hate them.
Yeah, it's like.
But yes. Yeah. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, it's like, yeah, well, we're the NFC champs. We may have lost the Super Bowl, but we're the NFC. It's like nobody gives a fuck if you're the NFC champs. Like nobody goes back and like, remember that NFC championship game of 28? You remember who won? No, people remember who won the Super Bowl. You have all of it combined together. They have just one side. If you have to argue that, that's just lame. That's just
how it is. That's how it is for kill grinders. That's just how it is for the console community typically, which are the ones that kill grind. So that's kind of just like the mindset I've had growing up with Apex. But in reality, like I have 123 on console, 25K on PC. It's still me. It's just 2 different platforms, so it's like, it's whatever. I'm gonna take it back regardless, because now I did switch to console, and I'm dead ass about that, Enoch. I actually.
Are you at least on a PS5, please?
I'm on a PS5, of course.
Okay.
Yeah, been on PS5. Yeah, of course. I can't be on a PS4, but
Bro,
I mean,
okay,
it doesn't
yeah,
make a difference. 60 frames is still fucking horrible. But yeah, recently I had my PC ran into some issues to where I had to factory reset it a couple weeks ago, and since then I swear it's been inconsistent for my aim, and I felt like I probably have to upgrade the parts, so it's something that I don't want to do right now, just because I just hate technology, so I'd rather go back to something more simple. Cross progression won't work for me since my my console account and my Steam account are on two separate EA accounts, and so I can't cross progress them. So it's like I waited all this time in the last year and a half for cross progression since I came to PC in February of last year to cross progress to bring all my stats over to PC so I can play on the better frames, and I can't do that, and there's no solution to it, not right now at least. So it's like, what's the point? And then you think about the cheater issues that you have to suffer every single day. That would actually stress me out to the point where I was like, I genuinely don't want to play the game anymore. And so within the last couple of weeks as well, that I played with even Freddie or whoever else, I could only stream for 2 to 3 hours. And if I didn't have a ranked team, then I would just get off and get back on when I had a ranked team. So my streams became a little bit more infrequent and inconsistent. And now, since moving to PC, obviously I've had a bunch of people like Funk, I think Chaotic, and a couple others that I've known for a long time come into my chat saying the same things as you guys. I think it is a little bit weird for somebody to be on PC to go back. And I understand the input delay difference and the frame difference, but I feel like mentally I'm able to stream longer, which is good for all parties involved, my community, myself. I feel like my mental's a little bit more, I guess you could say, it's just improved a little bit since I don't have to worry about finding a team 24/7. You know how that can be, sometimes on PC, or running into cheaters, and I don't have to worry about my inconsistencies with my aim on PC since those issues that I've had. So I'm back on console for the foreseeable future. My time with Apex won't be much longer anyways. I give it about a year before I get into PA school or around then. So I figure, why not, go for full circle and end it where I started. And I like that. I made that up last minute, kind of to like cope with switching to PC. But I think that sounds cool. End it where it all started. So yeah, 100% I'm back on console.
Nice. And it sounds like you have like very understandable reasons why, and I'm excited to see that it's going to be like just an overall improvement in your life and for your community, and it'll be fun to see what you're able to do, because you're going to be doing something that most streamers haven't done before. Like, we've seen so many people go from console to PC. We haven't seen the going from PC to console, and it'll be cool.
I mean, genuinely, if you
and there's like cross progression, and you can play, like, you could still play in like PC lobbies if you really wanted to, and so like that's not like a thing. But like, yeah, you're probably, I mean, with the cheater situation, like the fact that you are going to be able to play at all times and not have to worry about somebody wall hacking and then aimbotting your, like.
Why do you play the game?
I do.
He's our casual king.
PC?
I do.
You play on PC though?
Yeah.
And so I'm sure you've had that ran into cheaters here and there.
Yeah, it's I mean, obviously I'm not like to the level of you guys. Like, I'm more of a casual player as far as my skill level. I play all the time, but I'm not like extremely good. So I don't run into them as often. But what I have learned is, from playing this game since day one, whenever the season has a brighter outlook, when people are having a more fun time playing Apex, which they are right now, the cheater situation gets insane. And that's where we're at again. And it just seems like whenever you have a down season where there's not a lot of content, where people are just kind of burnt out, bored, whatever it may be, cheaters kind of go away. But at the same time, there's no new content in the game. Nobody wants to play it. Now the game is good again. Cheaters are back. That's what I've noticed as far as like my time with Apex. And it does suck, man. It really is. I have run into a few. I just don't typically run into them that often because I'm not in the Masters or Pred lobbies for the most part.
Yeah, I mean, that's an interesting relationship between the two. I would say that maybe the reason why people are Well, aside from the 3 strikes game mode, which is like legendary, but like I feel like the sweatier the rank system has been recently, the more people are starting to play and get excited about it. And the sweatier the rank system is, that's where the cheaters come in, because a lot of these cheaters, few of them, a handful of them, sure, cheat for themselves, but there's a legit cheating market where these people are buying these boosts from cheater websites. I even got emailed. I get emailed all the time for like smaller companies that sponsor with them or whatever. I rarely know if they're legit or not. I had an email from some guy who is from America but is currently living in China, asking me to help bring their boosting company over to North America. So who knows? Again, it sounds crazy, but like, people are buying these things.
I've seen Instagram ads. Like, I'll be scrolling on Instagram and the ad will pop up and be like, we can get you a 4K 20 kill badge in a day or something like that. And it's like, they paid for a promotion on this post. Like, they paid for this post to go up. It is a legitimate market.
A lot of money.
And it's insane. And that's the kind of the sad part about gaming getting as popular as it's gotten. You know, back in the day, it was more niche. There wasn't a whole lot of like, there was shine, but not like it is today. And now you're getting a lot more people being able to capitalize off of this in bad ways, which we see in any market that starts to get more and more popular. But it does suck, man. It really does suck. So I can 100% understand why you would want to switch back to console. And I also think it makes sense in the form of, you're not trying to be a ALGS pro player. Right. You're a content creator. You're creating content. You can create the same content, whether it's on a PC or on a console. The person watching the video on whatever, TikTok, Reels, YouTube Shorts, whatever it may be, they don't know any fucking difference on what console, unless you're doing some sort of crazy challenge for whatever, but they have no idea. They're just watching the video and they're just enjoying it, especially like the Rage ones you mentioned. Like, who gives a fuck what platform it was on? The Rage part
doesn't matter at all, exactly.
So I think it's actually a very smart play by you as somebody who knows that their time is coming to an end, and also knows that I'm just trying to make content, get views, get clicks. I think it's smart all the way around.
Yeah, thank you. That's how I look at it. But yeah, it's been fun. It's been a little bit more enjoyable for me. Like I said, my mental is a little clearer. I swear on my life, every time I booted up my PC, I play a ranked game. As soon as I die to a cheater, it's just like, I don't even want to play anymore. First game on. And Enoch, you be grinding, so it's like, I posit that nobody's genuinely happy. The reason why people think all these pro players are always bitching and crying about the state of the game, they have every right to. With how much they play and how often they run into cheaters, you just go into any one of their streams at all, none of them are laughing. Very rarely. They're all raging. They're all talking about cheater this, cheater that. It's just like, I was the same person, but like, I couldn't take it anymore. I was losing my shit. And so I'm happy on console. I'm staying on console right now for the foreseeable future. And if cross progression ends up working for me personally, then I might go back to PC. But until then, I think I'm safe where I'm at. I'm chilling where I'm at.
See, I would say, like, for the most part, it's definitely understandable how frustrating it is, and I can attest, because like I deal with it more than most people, considering I play ranked for like 10 to 12 hours a day. But I do think, I just view it as a mental test of, can I keep my calm and just like still have a good time? And like also
that slingshot mentality.
I'm willfully putting myself into the situation. So can I really be mad at the game when I know I'm queuing up knowing that there's a decent chance that I'm going to run into a cheater, and yet I'm going to keep on doing it. So why would I get mad if I get killed by a cheater?
If it wasn't your job.
I know, but it's a choice. If it wasn't your job, would you be grinding as hard as you were right now? Would you subject yourself to all of that BS that you have to while playing rank? I don't think you would. I don't want to speak for you, though. I wouldn't be playing this game if I didn't have community or money from it. I wouldn't be playing. I don't think the amount of time that I would spend playing video games would be drastically shorter than what it is for me now if it wasn't my job. Like, I only play as much video games as I do because it's my job. And so if it wasn't my job, I probably wouldn't even be playing much at all.
Hell no. If you run into the first cheater and it's not your job, I get the fuck off. I'm done with today. I'm good. I'm logging off. Go play Fortnite or something.
I would say at that point, like, I would just view it as, okay, I'm spending time with like the people that I'd be playing with. Because at that point, because like for me, with how much I've played Apex Ranked, like it is so much something that I enjoy it and it's fun, and like yeah, like I'm playing video games, I enjoy it, but it's like very much something that's like in the background for me. Of like I'm so much more focused on trying to have like a positive impact on like everybody who I'm interacting with, and like in terms of like the people who are engaging and interacting with my content, and like if I want to set a tone of like trying to be the best version of yourself, I can't do that if I'm allowing myself to get mad at the video game.
That's true.
And so
I think it's important to have that mindset as well.
And so that's gone like a long way in terms of just having the right mindset to like deal with the stuff that you're going to deal with. Cause like there's a lot of bullshit. There's like cheaters aside, there's a lot of stuff that can happen in Apex where you're just like, what the fuck? Like there's just no shot that just happened to me. Like there's just no way. And then you can have like 3 of those things happen back to back to back. So it's definitely Apex is a game that like is easy to get mad at, but it's also like, it's a lot of practice.
Yeah. I feel like if you can't, obviously we can't control the situation itself with cheaters. So it's like, if you can't control it and you're going to do it regardless, you might as well go into it with the proper mindset. But for me,
and if everybody else is getting mad and you're not, you're just dubbing.
5 years into this game, they need to fix that shit immediately.
Do you think that there's ever going to be a successful anti-cheat? Because like I'm fairly positive. I'm not naming names of anybody, but I think that there's got to be like somebody who is involved with like stopping the cheaters and the people who are selling cheats. Like there's just no way that there's not something going on. And so do you think there's ever a time where there'll be a working anti-cheat across all platforms?
I came up with this theory. Answer, I don't think, no. I to be honest, I have no insight or anything about that on that side of the game, but I feel like if they had something decent at this point, they would have had that put it in. But I've created this theory that Respawn and EA, they pay these cheaters to play the game because it's a majority of their population on PC. And so if you created an anti-cheat system so good at what it does and it wipes out all the cheaters, that's like hundreds of thousands of people not playing. Like I genuinely feel like there are that many people. Obviously this is not true at all. I'm just trying to rationalize their lack of anything at this point. Yeah. So I feel like EA and Respawn are paying these cheaters, funding these cheaters, funding the hackers, because without them their numbers would go down, it would tank, and in the tens of thousands. That's obviously bullshit, but I think it's
fantastic spin zone. That is a fantastic. I love that so much. They actually need cheaters more than they need us. That's a great spin zone.
Exactly.
I love it.
Because why? They obviously see and hear our cries and complaints for years now, and they have to know how bad it is. Why haven't they taken initiative?
No, I think it's fair. I've always like my thing on cheating. It kind of goes into the same vein. I feel like the reason why either governments or whatever it may be haven't done anything about cheating is very simple, and it comes down to what you said earlier. It has a gigantic market, and that's all money and cash going into the economy, and whatever it may be, like money is being spent for this. And that shows up somewhere. So I don't know. That's
I haven't even think about it at the government level. Yeah, I haven't even think about the government level. Because,
if you think about it, like EA, there is no shot that EA is going to have a market of substantial money exist from something that they created and not dip their greedy little hands into that pot. There's just no shot. Who
knows?
Yeah,
you know how corrupt things are. It's just like, who knows? Maybe I am right. Who knows?
Yeah, and it also goes into the fact that like we're just now getting into the world where like sports gambling is becoming a thing, and now they're finally starting to make like regulations and different stuff like that. Like I think we could see the same thing happening with esports, where eventually they do a better job eradicating it, but that won't happen until you can bet consistently on esports. Once you are able to fill that hole with something else, which I think would be gambling, betting, whatever it may be. I'm not saying it's good. I'm not saying it's bad. call 1-800-GAMBLER. All I'm saying is they would not fill that hole unless they already had another hole ready to go that you could throw money into. So for them right now, they're saying, we keep the cheating going. It makes sense. It's making money for others out there and then coming to us. Like, they wouldn't fill that up. They're not going to throw dirt into that hole unless another one opens up. And right now, esports betting isn't really there yet. I think when it gets there, when esports gets more popular, when there's more like sites that give you, I don't know, lines and different betting scenarios for these esports, whether it be CSGO, Apex, League of Legends, Call of Duty, whatever it may be, then we might see like a more serious consideration towards like banning certain types of cheating in video games. But it will take a while, I think, before we get there. But I definitely like your idea. I love the spin zone.
Yeah, I just like I said, how long does it take for us to keep crying and bitching until they finally do something? So I just be making up random stories in my head now.
You have to. Got to do it to cope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I wanted to go back because we've been talking for cheating forever, but I did want to go back to some of the Loba stuff you said because we were on the Loba talk for a little bit. You had mentioned like Loba gets shafted all the time with like certain things, like her, obviously her bracelet didn't work for a while. You mentioned the heirloom. I was just curious, did you have an idea for what you thought the heirloom should have been? And if you had one, let us know what it was.
That's a good question because this was a big subject, a little bit over a year ago before it came out. And if you look at her skins, the Purple Rain skin, maybe you're familiar with that, Enoch. Maybe you remember. She has like the short hair. It's like the purple sparkly one, like the sparkly hands, the metallic hands, and it shows her midriff a little bit. And on the back, she had these two little sword-like objects. And I was a very big fan previously of Lifeline's dual wielded drumsticks, one in each hand. And I like that idea a lot because we haven't seen another character that has had a dual wielded heirloom. People get that confused with double handed like Caustics or whatever, but to have one heirloom in each hand, Lifeline's the only one aside from Pathfinder if you count his gloves.
I think Seer got one.
Oh, Seer now too. Yeah, I forgot about that. But at that time, nobody had. And I really like that idea. And then there were rumors about this fan coming out, and I wasn't the happiest about it. But when it finally was revealed, especially with all the animations that it has, I still think it has the best animations out of any heirloom to date. I was very excited about it, and I think they did a really good job. I genuinely believe that that's the best heirloom. Maybe not aesthetically for a lot of people. You could argue that, but when it comes to the detail with the animations, I don't know if there are other, especially because none of the older legends with heirlooms, like Bangalore, they don't have any animations like the newer ones do. I think Loba's was pretty spot on, and I like it a lot.
They've knocked it out of the park with the recent animations. What I loved that they did was they finally gave Wraiths animations because forever it was just like the most lame thing you'll ever see. But then they updated
just the inspect
really
spam.
Cool.
I mean the Kunai's still on top though, in my opinion. But I respect the. I mean, I'm a Wraith enthusiast.
I'm a shock stick guy. I'm a Lifeline shock stick guy.
I like Lifelines a lot too. I can't lie. Wraiths is good. I mean, it's like a safe pick, bro. It's like it's the thing that started it all. But do you think it's genuinely, objectively?
I don't know if I'd say it's objectively, but in my opinion, it's my favorite. But I do respect the Loba pick, and I will say that the Loba spam inspect is clean.
Yeah, it is actually really good. Probably the best next to Wraith. I don't know if other legends have really good inspect spams like that.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Caustic's heirloom is slept on though. The hammer goes hard.
It is.
Think so?
It's just a little ugly looking though. That's the thing.
I played it. I don't have a lot of heirlooms, so I don't have a lot of experience with a lot of them. But I played it once. He has like 2 animations. That's it. But I guess it looks cool. I guess I'm more big on the animations. Like
I'm not a big animation guy.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, but the aesthetics of Caustics, like the way it looks, the way it feels, it does look cool. I would agree.
Okay, so moving off from Loba and heirloom talk a little bit, I kind of wanted to go into something that you mentioned before that it kind of helped your career kind of take off a little bit more as far as content creation goes. and you mentioned the raging and all the different stuff like that. I can speak from personal experience. The rage moments are some of my favorite moments that I see from streamers, content creators, whatever it may be, because I feel like those are the true, real moments of like gaming. And if somebody tries to tell
Yeah.
you that they don't rage like that, it's a little
Well, they're
suspicious.
bullshit lying.
They're lying. They're
Yeah.
lying. So I just wanted to kind of go through like, has that always been a part of your arsenal? Has that something like been something you've always done? And then I wanted to get your Mount Rushmore of the favorite ragers you like to watch, if you have any, throughout your history.
So yes, I've always raged only in competitive settings like gaming or sports. But in sports, like I played football my whole life. I never raged to that extent. There's no need to. But I'm very passionate about what it is that I do. And with gaming, it genuinely brings out a different side of me that doesn't exist in my day to day. Like I'm not a hothead throughout my normal routine. I don't react like that. But when it comes to gaming, it's just something so frustrating about it. And so it was entertaining for a lot of people, and that's what helped accelerate my growth. But on the flip side, a lot of people that didn't stick around and that didn't know who I was and what I was about and where I'm headed, they looked at it as me being toxic, me being an asshole, and all sorts of things, which I guess they're entitled to thinking that, but these are just the most raw and vulnerable moments within gaming. And exactly as you said, there are plenty of people out there that will cast judgment onto me earlier when I would rage a lot, just kind of brushing it off as I'm an asshole or whatever without really getting to know me. But if, like you said, if you're going to sit here and say that you never have raged in a video game ever in your entire life, you're obviously lying or you haven't gamed that long. And I think that's also on the flip side why a lot of people did find it entertaining. One, because I just, it was crazy how loud I can scream and how funny that was, my reactions, I guess. But it's something that we've all experienced in our lives in gaming if you've gamed long enough. So it resonates with the casual player base that doesn't take the game seriously, but still feels that same passion. And I guess it worked for me. I ended up getting partner in season 8 as a result, but I've definitely toned it down a bit since then. And when it comes to favorite ragers on that I've watched, I of course Delore is like the number one, but I haven't watched a lot of content growing up around gaming, so I couldn't name anybody else. But I'm thinking about Apex people that rage a lot. That might be funny. No, nobody's made raging a part of their brand, especially back then in season 7 and season 8. And so that was a niche market that I was able to tap into, in addition to me being the number one Loba. And so it was like nobody had really done it at that time. And I don't think really anybody has made raging a part of their brand. There's obviously people that rage, but that was like my thing back then. But I think Design Foes has some pretty funny raging moments. I can't lie.
Design, I think Dalton.
Yeah,
early Daltoosh, back in the grind. Yeah,
that was funny.
Daltoosh still be raging, but I think we've all simmered down a bit. I mean, we're all old as shit now, and yeah, Daltoosh early on. I remember people would say the same thing they said about me, like Daltoosh is just an asshole. But look where he's at now, and it's like people are entertained and drawn towards that, and I think it comes a point in time where it's like, okay, you do have to turn it down a bit. Hence why I did. Hence why Daltoosh definitely has. But he still has his moments where he breaks out, freaks out, and it's just the funniest shit ever. He's so funny. That man is so funny.
And then I think Taxi, I think would have to be another one of the ones that come to mind because that man, he's had his moments as well.
Yeah, I think it's funny, bro. It's like I said, everybody rages. Even Enoch on this wavelength that you're on right now.
I have my moments.
I've seen you during your slingshot mentality this last year. You freaked out still. It's like no amount of thought that you could put into not freaking out is going to prevent you from freaking out in Apex Legends. It doesn't work. But you asked if I freaked out or raged in other games. This is how I was in Siege. Siege brought a side out of me that Apex could never bring out of me. And I played Siege casually as hell. And even then, something about Siege.
Oh, dude, that was from my game, League of Legends. I was my absolute worst version of myself when I played League of Legends. It was
League of Legends is sweaty as hell. So much more competitive, I feel like, than Apex or Siege. I mean, Siege is a little dead right now, but League of Legends, I can see why it does that for you. I've never played, though.
Was there another game? Because like for me, my worst rage time of my life was actually first Overwatch 1.
Mm.
Because I was just like, I don't know what it was, dude. I can't even explain it. I'm actually a big
Mm.
rager, but I don't have a camera on me at like all times. I've definitely calmed down a lot, but back in the
Mm.
early days of Overwatch 1 and early days of Apex, I was bad. Was there another game that was like just, you mentioned Siege, but there one that was just tops all of them? You just rage more than any other game?
Well, I played hundreds of games. Like I'm a real gamer. I have to say that because a lot of people play Apex. That's their first game ever, and I feel so sorry for them. So I played hundreds of games, and the reason why I say that is because I played COD my whole life. So I don't want you guys thinking that I just played shooters my entire life. But COD I played since COD 2, the big red one, up until BO4. And even as when did COD 4 come out? Middle school for me. Yeah, I just rage. It's just something about gaming, shooters, where it's competitive, obviously in an online multiplayer experience, where it just brings a side out of me that probably like my dad's anger just genetically bestowed upon me that I don't react like that in my day to day, but I have to give it out, just get it out of me somehow, and it's just gaming that brings it out of me. I don't know. It's done that since I can remember, since middle school easily, and I don't know if it'll ever go away until I stop playing games. Maybe.
It's beautiful. It's a beautiful art though. I think some of my favorite videos I've ever watched on YouTube is like just one of my favorite streamers or somebody. Sometimes I don't even know who they are. Just raging.
Mm,
Dr. Disrespect is really like back in his H1Z1 days is definitely
mm-hmm.
one that I always watch. But it's an art form, and I think people
It's a
like to
human emotion
call.
that everybody feels.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I think people like to look at people and say you're an asshole, and I don't think they're looking at it in the right way. I feel like every time you look at a streamer I'm speaking for them. I don't know if this is for sure, but
Mm-hmm.
this is what I feel that they think. They're looking at somebody who is playing video games in front of a large group of people, and they're seeing somebody get mad, and they're thinking, "Wow, how can you not be excited and happy with what's in front of you?" But
Mm,
sometimes you just get mad. Like I don't. Whenever I'm watching somebody rage, I don't take that into account. I don't think of it that way. I just think it's funny. It's just like a good
yeah.
old fashioned time. We're humans. We're all gonna have that emotion at some point. And
Mm,
it's also funny because they may not get mad at gaming, but they may be that one person at work who everybody's like, that guy's an asshole. Like you
yeah.
get mad at different things in life. So whether
Mm,
you can't be high and mighty on somebody raging on video games when you know that you rage at other stuff. So that's always been my
exactly.
thing. Moving on into a different topic here. You
Mm,
had a crazy, crazy challenge that you did that Enoch attempted, and I want to hear
I
Enoch's
dabbled.
perspective on
I
some of this
dabbled,
too.
and then I was like, "Yeah, I'm just
He was
not."
out. The solo to masters on every single legend challenge.
it
First,
was fun.
I just want to hear you kind of go through what kind of went into your head on that challenge and like and just your thought process throughout the whole thing. I'd also like to know like the three easiest legends, three hardest legends that came from that challenge that you realize like holy
Okay.
shit, this is difficult.
Yeah. So I believe it started in March of this year, and I was at a pretty low point of my life at that point, and so my emotions were all over the place. My mental was a bit in disarray, and it was difficult for me to get online and stream every day uh, without purpose. And so I came up with the idea. It was actually like an epiphany. Like I went to bed and I was like, bronze master every list, never been done. Let's do it. The next day I started, and it was great. It grew all my socials. I was very fortunate and thankful for that. And it gave me something to do every single day while I committed to my studies outside of school. Um, every day for 4 months, I believe. It took me about 4 months. Um, it was rough. Enoch actually, kindly enough, did kind of like ask me permission almost, or like, is it cool if I attempt this too? And I respect that a lot because you know how content creators can be nowadays when it comes to stealing. Not even stealing, but just like seeing something being done and then them just doing it but never giving credit. You didn't even have to do that for me
Oh,
because it's like
I
whatever.
100%. Whenever anybody asked me, I made it very clear that I was like,
Yeah.
I'm doing this as a result of Scrappy doing
Yeah.
his.
We mentioned
Like,
it
And
all
you
the
know how
time.
bad content.
I always paid my respect.
And I respect that.
Yeah,
It
100%.
says a lot about your character, and you're a good man, obviously, for that, and obviously for other reasons as well. But yeah, as you remember, season 16, season 17, that's when I did it. The game was dry, man. The game was rough, and so I don't blame you for that, because at that point, nobody was
It was
making
painful.
content.
It
Was the only thing
honestly,
that
it was so painful. It was
it
really
was rough.
it was not fun. It was not a
No, it
good
wasn't
time.
fun.
It was very
And
dark
so
days.
with the in-game exactly with the in-game issues and my personal life issues, I just had to figure out something to do that kept me grinding every day for 4 months, and it exceeded my expectations. You know, it grew, like I said, it grew my socials. I got paid handsomely for it, and so I was happy. I built a larger community, and it made me happy. And to answer your second question, the 3 hardest legends, that's going to be hard to really remember. I remember I struggled a lot with Rampart. I struggled a lot on day 1 with I think it was Vantage.
Bro, fuck Vantage. I
Well,
despised that dude. Just that it's so big. It was just too big.
She's definitely a chunky girl, but it wasn't so much Vantage's abilities in and of her itself. It was just, I believe I did that on day 1 of season 16 split 2. Did we still have splits in season 16?
I could not tell you.
Yeah, I think we did. And so season 16, the cheater issue was at equally as high as now, if not higher. And so that's why I struggled a lot. Not necessarily because of her issues, but I struggled a lot with Rampart. I think just the immobile legends, the non-movement legends, I struggled with the most. And of course, the movement legends I struggled with the least. But it's going to be hard to think about all 24 legends that I did, because I forget. But yeah, if you have other questions about that.
That is probably for the best.
Yeah, the moments, I raged a lot too, so it's like, again, I can't help but rage. You know how solo queuing can bring out a different side of anybody that plays this game. It was rough. The solo queue life is definitely rough. I don't think Apex really caters to them as much as they should. Maybe they shouldn't, since that's not how their game is marketed. But something has to be done about that solo queue thing. And it's even harder now with the promo trials. A lot of solo queuers are playing, so now I feel like I take it upon myself to kind of like be a spokesperson for the solo queuers out there, because nobody cares about them. No pro player solo queues like that. There's no need to. Nobody in their right mind that makes content with solo queue all the time, I guess, unless you're Shiv. But even then, look how much Shiv has raged over the years. So I feel like I don't know. I care about the solo queue experience now, because they really are, I feel like, neglected. I feel like the most in this community, and there's a lot of them. I feel like the solo queue, the amount of solo queuers that play the game are in the majority, by far. You know, if we have millions of players that play this game, I think we have millions of people that play solo, at least frequently. You know, so it's like, how do we not kind of tap into that side a little bit more to make that experience better for them? But what do I know?
See, I will say, as someone who has spent a decent amount of time solo queuing, and then the majority of my time playing in a 3-stack, I don't think that the game should cater to solo queuers. In my opinion, like, 'cause I think at the end of the day, like, from my opinion, like, Apex is a game of teamwork that relies heavily on positioning and communication. And you, obviously, like, if you're going to be going into it as a solo queue player, you should understand that, like, you're inherently putting yourself at a disadvantage. And a lot of people will solo queue and then complain about it instead of simply doing the things that you need to do in order to get teammates. Because, like, it's not hard for somebody who is looking to find Apex Legends ranked teammates to find them. Like, if you spend
them consistently, though.
Well, I know, but see, like, I'm not saying that it's easy, but I'm saying that it's possible and it's available for everybody to do it. Like, it's just stuff that they would rather not do, because, like, to do that, you would probably have to, like, my advice whenever people are talking about like trying to find ranked teammates is to literally find just 5 streamers that you enjoy, show face a decent amount, get like your name out there, and then type in their LFG in their Discord and go through, type it like, hey, I play from this time to this time. I'm this rank. I'm really trying to make it to this rank. Trying to surround myself with other individuals who are trying to do the same. let me know if you think we'd be a good fit and we can schedule something. And then I would go through and I would message every other of those people who have messaged even close to my rank in the last 3 months, send out a lot of cold DMs to find myself some Apex Legends ranked teammates. But I could find them because, I mean, they're technically like, they are out there looking for it, you know? And so you just got to put in the work. But a lot of people would rather not do that and then complain about it. And so, but it's just, it's a team game. You know?
I don't think the game should cater towards them per se, but I feel like they could make it a little easier. You know, it doesn't have to be so black and white, but also, you know, you have to remind yourself of the casual you before you had your claim to fame, before you were as big as you were now. There are millions of people that play Apex and video games in general that aren't even involved on social media to do something like that. You know, Apex averages 30,000 viewers concurrent a day. Or I think I it's more than that, but like, you know, any point you open the Twitch app, it's like 30, 40K people watching in that moment. There are millions that don't even watch Twitch, that don't watch streamers, that aren't involved in the, you know, Twitter Apex community or whatever other communities are out there. So it's like, genuinely, the majority of players that play this game are casual, and therefore a lot of them are solo queuers. And they come home from work, they boot up their game. They come home from school, they boot up their game. Or maybe they don't do any of that, and they just play the game because they like gaming. And it's like, it's unfair, I feel like, to expect them to go through all those obstacles and hurdles just to find teammates when I feel like, no, the game shouldn't cater towards them, but I feel like their experience could be taken. It could be made just slightly a little bit easier. Maybe a little bonus if you're solo queuing. Maybe just a little bit. Something, I don't know.
I
would definitely be in favor of like a bonus because I don't think that like changes anything too crazy. I've always been of the position that I wouldn't like when it comes to that is I wouldn't want it to ever be in a position where it would encourage people to choose to solo queue over finding a team. And like yes, like there's those people who are like playing the game casually and they're only doing it like if you're playing the game casually. I feel like most casuals wouldn't like play ranked if you're a casual. And then if you're a casual, it only takes like so many games. Like if I was a casual and I hopped on to play rank and I did a comm check, the first team I had that gave me any sort of comms that I could like work with, I'd be like, yo, you want to run it back? And then boom.
I feel like a lot of people are antisocial now. A lot of people are antisocial now based on my experience. I mean, you see so many instances of like, just slurs being thrown out for no reason. You guys know how it is when it comes to solo queuing, and it's and so a lot of from the experience, my own experience with solo queuing, and people's experiences that have been shared with me, they're kind of calloused a little bit. You know, they're kind of a little bit more reluctant to even open up their mic, and that kind of only perpetuates their cycle of being solo. Nobody's reaching their hand out, talking to their randoms, befriending them. But back in the day in season 2, when I hit Pred, I solo queued all the time. And if I connected, if I won a game with a team, I just hit them up. You know, no egos. It was just so different back then in season 2 when the game first came out. Everybody is a lot more willing to, you know, reach their hand out and try to find new people to play because everybody was new to the game. But yeah, I mean, there are obviously ways, and that's what I say to people that solo queue all the time. Like, are you putting yourself out there? I know it's a little scary to be social, especially with how rude people can be, but you are right. You know, if you're gonna solo queue every day, but then complain about solo queuing because it's so difficult, but you're not sticking your hand out just a little bit to try to find people to play with, then ultimately at some point it becomes your own issue. And so I do agree with that sentiment as well.
And I appreciate you like because definitely there are people out there that have like the social anxiety issues of like having had previous bad experiences and then not wanting to put themselves in that situation. But then at the same time, I would say that Apex, if you're somebody like who struggles with social anxiety, Apex should be an opportunity for you to be able to like push yourself in that area, get outside of your comfort zone. Because I mean, we're talking about like talking to somebody that you're never going to interact with ever again before, and like you're playing a video game. Like I would say that that's arguably like an excellent environment for those people to be like pushing themselves because like social anxiety is like a thing and it happens, but it's 100% something that if you work through it, anybody has the ability to overcome it.
It's just that first step that's hard for a lot of people, you know. And I think it is a good mechanism for you to use, gaming, and to kind of get over that social anxiety a little bit. But I don't know if it would. I don't know if it directly translates to your social anxiety in real life as well. For me personally, I feel like with my stream, it has built a confidence in me, and it has built a, I have become better over the years with streaming in front of everybody. Uh, in my social life, I'm a bit more of a social butterfly. I can hold conversations better than I used to be able to before. So I feel like I've used it properly in that way. But I've never struggled with social anxiety like that, not
Mm-hmm.
since I was younger. And so if somebody really is suffering from crippling social anxiety, I don't know if talking over the video game might help them in their day to day in real life, but it's a good option. So why not test it out at least?
Yeah, I would
It's a
say
lot
that. I
safer
mean,
too.
yeah, it's definitely going to be. I would say like the barrier to entry in terms of like engaging in that social scene is just so much lower than the in person, and so
Yeah.
I would say like from that perspective, it wouldn't. I would say there would be some translate, like, because in my opinion, it would be like practicing putting yourself in that uncomfortable situation and then learning how to operate within that. And a lot of people just don't do that. And so if you practice putting yourself in the like uncomfortable situation of, oh, I'm talking to somebody online who I wouldn't normally do, and
Right.
I'm not gonna allow my past negative experiences dictate how I'm gonna carry myself now and moving forward, and then get into that uncomfortable zone, practicing that as like, okay, like that's like riding a bike in terms of like interacting with people. That'd be like riding the bike with like tricycle, like with the back two
Right.
wheels on. And so then
Mm-hmm.
when you would be like obviously operate like interacting with people in real life would be a completely different level, but at least they've been working and practicing
A little bit. Yeah, it's
at
good
like
practice, I think.
an easier interface
Right.
for
Yeah.
people who genuinely have those struggles. Because like that's real and it's a thing, but it's also something that I genuinely believe everybody has the ability to overcome. But the only thing preventing them would be that they don't want to go through those uncomfortable moments that
You got to break out of your
everybody
shell a
has to
little
go
bit,
through in order to grow. Like
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
everybody's got to be in uncomfortable moments to grow. And
Yeah, and like getting back to the Discord thing, one of my Discords that I have, when one of my mods put this in, I thought it was so weird. It didn't make any sense to me, and I was like, this is so weird. But they put in a channel called the No Mic Chat, and it was for people in my Discord who were playing together or wanted to play together, but either A, they didn't have a mic, or B, they were uncomfortable with using one, especially around new people. So they would do no mic chat. So they would have Discord open. I don't know if they'd have it open on a second screen. It still kind of perplexes me a little bit. But what I have learned is like a lot more of the people in my Discord will use the no mic chat one. They'll type to each other after the game is over, be like, "This is what my thought process was," and be like, "Oh, okay, I see that now." And they'll have like a conversation after the game, before the game, what they want to do going into the next game, and obviously it's not really communicating as far as like within the game, and you're not really, I don't know if you're getting better at that communication thing, but it definitely gets you to be able to find a teammate at the very least. So then maybe
Mm-hmm.
that can help out a solo queue situation where typically you're used to solo queuing. This could help you out, maybe get to that next step where maybe you're like, hey, you know what, like we've had some good games on no mic chat, maybe I'll try out the mic. Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you get to that point.
Yeah.
So that's always an option. It still
That's
is
a good
weird to me
alternative.
because I talk for like a lot. I mean, I have a podcast, so like, I'm talking.
Yeah, right.
But a lot of people don't have that same thing. So I can definitely understand where they come from. I do think a bonus would be nice. A bonus would be cool. My
Bonus would be
only
really
worry
good.
about catering too much to solo queuers is last season, if you tried to play with your friends, from a casual perspective, like from my end, I was playing with three of my friends, and because it was like if you had a squad of three, you were playing people who were way higher in your skill level, and you were just getting rolled. Like I was getting rolled by people I should never be in lobbies with. Like I think I got in a lobby with a prize once. I was like, how am I here? Like this makes no sense. I should never be there. That's the only issue with it. I see it like if you cater too much to it, might end up getting into like a Call of Duty public match scenario where you're just kind of running around doing whatever. That's my fear. But I do think maybe a bonus would be a very solid option for somebody playing by themselves to be like, hey, we know you're up against it, so we'll give you a little bit more here in this area to kind of level it out. It won't make it go
Right.
away, obviously, but
Hmm.
maybe level it out a little bit. I think. I think
Hopefully,
that
yeah,
was a
yeah.
great
I think
idea.
something could be done. Right. I agree.
100%. Moving on to the next thing here, Scrappy. You
Hmm.
got you got a lot of schooling going on, and you had mentioned earlier that by the end of this next year, you think that you're going to be, done with Apex, moving on into your next phase of your schooling. Can you kind of go through what you're going to school for, what your plans are, and how it's translating right now, and how you're doing?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. So I graduated in 2021 uh, with a biology degree, with the intention of committing and going to PA school, which is physician assistant. And it's essentially, for those that don't know, it's like med school. It's equally as prestigious, but there are obviously discrepancies between the two. Um, Med school being obviously a little higher, but PA school is on the rise too. They're getting a lot more freedom to practice medicine without the supervision of a doctor. So it's becoming a really cool profession for a lot of people out there, including myself. And once I heard about that field in college, I just kind of committed myself to that. And of course, I started streaming my senior year of college, and that's when it kind of did take off. And so I decided to give myself a break, a gap year from the world of academia, uh, which was last year. And so all I did was just stream. And now that that was over, it's time to get back on my grind, my towards my occupational goals, which is PA, or my educational goals as well. Um, and so this year, at the top of this year, I had to get certified um, for medical assisting, phlebotomy, and EKG, so that I could find a job as a medical assistant, which is what I'll start doing next year, early next year, in a couple months, I guess, actually, after the season is over. And that's so that I can use that as hours or experience for PA school, because they require 1,000 hours of work experience before you can apply. And so that was my 2023 right there, plus the internship hours. And then next year I'll still be streaming. It's going to be a lot less because I should be working full time next year as a medical assistant. Um, a full time year is just a little bit more than 2,000 hours, and so I don't know how close I'll get to that, but I can easily get the 1,000 hours I'll need to apply to PA school at least. Um, and I have to take some standardized tests as well. But I still will be streaming. I don't know if I'll get accepted or if I'll be ready enough to uh, apply to PA school, so I might have to give it another year. But pretty much my timeline with Apex will be there. So up until I go to PA school, whether it's another year or two. But I've committed myself to that. There's nothing that's taking me away from that. It didn't matter how much success that I saw in this streaming world. It was never going to distract me from my passion, because that's exactly what medicine has become for me, is my passion. And the freedom that you get as a content creator is great. The money that I've made is great. The community that I've built is amazing. And I love that. I love that aspect of it with all my heart. But it's not my calling. It's not what I was put on this earth to do. And and I know I've been asked this question a lot, because for a lot of people, they can't understand, because they have their own jobs and they would love to give up their own jobs to go be a permanent streamer or content creator and make solid money from it. But I think people are too money driven. There's a lot more money to be made in this streamer world, but it's a lot more volatile, and that volatility makes me uncomfortable. And this passion is very secure. I've already worked up this far up until this point, and I can always come back to streaming if I wanted to after PA school. So it's like I played that safety net option. I think Enoch, was it you that made that safety net tweet? It
No,
was you,
I
Enoch.
made no backup plan kind of guy.
Yeah, and I understand that much as well, because my dad's can be much like that as well, with that mindset. But the safety net for me, and I know you receive a lot of hate. There's no need to receive that much hate, but you know
Oh,
how
I mean,
people on
dude,
the internet are.
I was not. I mean, I was thankful for it more than anything, because that boosted the shit out of that post.
You're
That
not wrong,
post
but
went nuclear because of everybody just absolutely just hating on my shit.
as somebody who has definitely, had viral tweets or viral or whatever, people are they're gonna chit chat all they want. But if you're being real with yourself, and saw how much hate that you were receiving for no reason at all, it was disproportionate to what you were trying to say. That had to have just slightly maybe affected you negatively, just a little bit.
I don't
Maybe
think
it didn't
so.
at all. If it didn't at all, beautiful. But
I just genuinely, I don't think that I would be able to be where I'm at if I genuinely cared about like the opinions of just random ass people online.
that's
And
true.
like, yeah, like
I'm
it was,
the same way.
I mean, I agree with you. I felt like with what I said, I was like, what on earth?
you had thought you said you were killing somebody or something.
Dude, yeah. And so, but I mean, genuinely, I was way too thankful for all of the just tremendous reach that it had, that like I wasn't like and like at the end of the day, like I genuinely just like can't care about the opinions of other people, specifically like online. Like
Especially
I would
online.
say like there's maybe like I have less than like a handful of people who I genuinely care about their opinion of me.
Right.
Like the list amount of people is just incredibly small. And so for me to take like any amount of like care over what some random person who's interacted with me, however long they have, because like nobody is ever judging you online. They're only judging a perception of you that they have made and they have in their head
in that moment,
based
in
upon
that one tweet or whatever,
based upon an incredibly small amount of interaction that they've spent with you. And so there's zero reason to care at all about what these, because they're not even saying it about you. It's like it's not about you, and most of the time what they're saying isn't, it's more revealing something within themselves than anything related to you. And you're 100%. Just the target that they're expressing themselves through. And so yeah, and I mean, like, when that happens, you just farm the haters, and it's great. Yeah. Like, it's just you just got to not care.
I feel like, and I did understand where you were coming from, but coming from where I've come from, and I think that's important to also consider, is like everybody is growing up with their own experiences. Everybody has gone through whatever they've gone through in their lives. What works for you, Enoch, works for you, and I love that you put that out there just because it might resonate with somebody that might need it at that moment. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But for me personally, the way that I've kind of gone about this whole streaming and schooling thing, I have provided that safety net that a lot of other streamers that don't have a safety net and all they do is stream, because how volatile it is, all they end up caring about is the numbers. And because it fluctuates so heavy, those peaks and valleys are so high and so low, it's unstable for a lot of people. And it obviously causes a lot of mental anguish, a lot of stress, a lot of anxiety. And I've never had to worry about that, because at any point of my time with streaming, if I wanted to stop and go back to school, which is what I'm going to do regardless, I can do that. And at any point during my career, now that I've built up all my socials, at any point during my medical career, if there was ever a point where I just wanted to take a breather, medicine could be very anxiety, causing. And if at any point I want to take a break, now I have this whole streaming thing to fall back on. So it's like I built multiple avenues for myself to go. And now I'm in complete control of wherever I want to take my life. And I'm not just subjected to just one thing. If you could do that one thing so well, you never have to worry about it. But streaming, genuinely, it's you have to be Timmy big, Nick Merckx big, if we're talking about longevity. And that's what I'm looking at. I'm thinking so far into the future. I'm thinking about 30, 40 years down the road. How can I cultivate the best environment and best experience for my family and for myself? Because I grew up from nothing, and I don't want to ever have my kids or wife or whoever worry about that like I had to worry about that. And so that's why I'm so future driven, future oriented. And I'm thinking about long term, because if we're being honest, 90%, 99% of streamers can never get to the point where streaming is sustainable for the rest of their lives. And maybe you can make enough money in the short term to kind of build up other opportunities, which is what I think a lot of people do nowadays. And that's a perfect route too. Like Daltouche, now he's now he's dabbling into the golfing thing.
Dude, the golf
I love
content
that.
is so huge.
I love that. I love
I
that.
think it is. What? Yeah. It's just. I'm glad that you brought that up because like that's like a classic example of how you can take the
momentum that you created with Apex
because
or whatever.
whenever because all of what we're doing, we're building personal brands, and so when you build that personal brand, you're able to build it into a point of where that personal brand can be the thing that you live off of for the rest of your life. Because like I understand that like I'm not going to be streaming 12 to 16 hours a day forever, but I 100% I'm always going to be creating content and using and leveraging that in different ways. And so that's and the adult Touche is putting on a master class and doing and like finding something that he's passionate about and then finding a way to mix the two and
it's smart.
Just,
it's very good well business done. Decision on his end. Yeah. But like I said, for me, it's just like this is my passion. Medicine is my passion. Streaming has never been my passion. Even if I made an absurd amount of money, I've never wanted to do it for the rest of my life. Money is great. It's amazing. The clout is cool. It's definitely a drug, you know, especially the higher up you get. I can see how people get addicted to that. But it's just not, I don't think it's what I was put on this earth for. I don't think it's what God put me on this earth for, to be the streamer. I get that. On the flip side, though, I feel like the reason why I also did start streaming is because I can help motivate and inspire a very uninspired younger generation. And I feel like I do that. Probably the same with you, Enoch, the way that you speak about your mental, you're very mentally driven and oriented. And that's a good thing. I think your mindset is everything and everything that you do. And a lot of younger folks don't understand that. And so there is a market for you after that, your time with Apex, if you wanted to dibble and dabble in that, you know, read more, research more, and really, you know, create something around that. I think that's something that you could do. And that's the beauty of social media and streaming. But for me, medicine, being mentally stimulated in that regard, being challenged every day with studies, with books, with science, that's just where I'm at. Sorry, I could talk about this so long.
Well, you don't have to apologize, and that's amazing to hear. And I would make the argument that the medical thing has always been the thing that you've always been pursuing, and so that like obviously the advice that I have towards streaming it doesn't apply to you, and you're doing your thing, and I could not be happier. Wishing you all the success that you've had, and like the amount of success that you've had while balancing everything, which is why I was telling why I was like, this is going to be a good interview because the way that you've been able to balance all of the working towards your like main passion of medicine, and then everything you've done with content, you've outworked and gotten more results done in content, competing against people who have way more time at their disposal. And like from your YouTube, from your Twitch, like Twitter, like it's very impressive.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate that a lot. Yeah. Why were you gonna say something?
I was also just gonna say it's also refreshing to interview somebody for I'm pretty sure this is like the first time. Maybe Rogue talking about like working with cars and stuff, but it's refreshing to talk to somebody who sees past the streaming world and the content creation world and has something to offer other than that. Like it's just nice to see because, you know, I work full time, so it's like I'm in that other side where, you know, it's just cool to see somebody who's like, yeah, this is cool and all, but I also feel like I have something else calling to me, because I do think that the streaming life, the streaming world can be like almost intoxicating to you know, people who are working consistently, to be like, man, I wish I was doing that. And then they get there and they're not really passionate about it. The one word that you have thrown around the most here is passionate. And I think that also goes to Daltouche. It's like, it's not like Daltouche was just doing golf because he's like, I need to branch out, I need to find something else. He didn't need to find shit. He knew what he wanted to do. Everybody knew what he wanted to do. He doesn't stop talking about it. He doesn't stop posting about it. And this was before the YouTube channel. That passion is legitimate. That is a real love. That is something that he will love till the day he dies. And he was able to transfer over into that. That word that you used a lot, passion, your passion is medicine. Your passion is moving past all this. I think more people need to hear stuff like that. I think more people who are loading up their stream and they don't really care about it. It's more just maybe this would be cool if I made a lot of money and did all this. Maybe it hits somebody. Maybe it hits somebody and they say, you know what? Maybe I need to find what I'm actually like loving every single day. Maybe it doesn't make me the most money I can make. Maybe it doesn't do all the things for me that I would hope streaming would do as far as like financial gain and stuff. But maybe it at least gives me that release at the end of the day that I'm doing what I was put on this earth to do. And I'm hoping that
It's
somebody out there
important.
hears that because it
It's
is
important.
important, man. It's extremely important because right now, like you said, we are it is a very uninspired group of people generation right now. Not a lot of things are going our way. I would say the
Mm-hmm.
cards are a little bit stacked against us, but it's also about the attitude that you have going into everything.
Mm-hmm.
You can still have a good attitude and you can still find your passion and go out there and do the not the quick buck, but get something that you work hard for and you enjoy
Yeah.
and you learn from each and every day. So I like hearing it from this perspective because almost always
Mm-hmm.
we get streamers who are like, this is what I'm going to do forever. This is what I'm, or maybe they don't actually think that, but it's like that's where their mind is right now.
Mm-hmm.
So it's nice to hear from the other side. It's really nice to
Yeah.
hear from the other side.
You have to find that passion. You have to find something that fills your heart and soul with so much fulfillment that you never question what it is that you're doing. You wake up and you do it because you love it. And it's smart to make sure that it brings you money as well because, this economy is not the greatest right now. So it's like there's some things that you have to might experiment with so that you can achieve both things. But at the end of the day, this is my end game. Medicine is my end game, and yeah, I try to tell people, the streaming and content creation thing is amazing if the opportunity is there for you, but you can't drop everything that you're doing in that moment, like quit jobs or quit school unless you made it. Like Daltush is like he dropped out of college, but how many people can drop out of college and reach the same success as him? And now you just reset yourself back like 5 years. Now you have no work experience, no college experience, and I highly recommend against that. So that's the kind of things that I talk about on my stream. Um, but if streaming is your passion, just like medicine is my passion, then you should pursue that as well. I just argue that a lot of people nowadays, it's more about the money. It's more about the clout, especially with all these just chatting streamers and how big they're becoming. A lot of people are seeing that, and these little kids are looking up to them. But these little kids are no longer looking up to medical professionals, to first responders, or jobs that impact our society that are so important to the social fabric of our nation. And we have this, it's a genuine issue. We have these kids growing up idolizing these streamers, wanting to become streamers, and that's beautiful if that's what you genuinely want to do. But now we have people that aren't pursuing jobs in teaching, like I mentioned, first responding, military, whatever, jobs that keep us connected and together as a nation and or as a world. And I unfortunately, I think about these things probably a little too much, but I don't think the world's headed down the right path, especially America in that regard. I think there's going to be a rude awakening at some point when these little kids are older. I mean, these little kids are the future of our nation, obviously, and something's got to be done about it. But that could be a topic for another conversation. Like I said, I could talk about a lot. So, yeah.
No, man, it's great to hear, and like I said, it's nice to hear from the other side, and that's why I think what you mentioned with the other streamers and stuff like that, the ones that are getting the most popular right now, seems like in every field, the most popular people are kind of the ones who do either A, the least amount of work, or B, the work that is just so like click worthy. It's not actually
Mm-hmm.
really helping anybody.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why I'm saying it's so important to have people like you, people like Enoch, who are positive and also have something else they're striving for on the side.
Mm-hmm.
Like it really just shows that like it can all come together. That would be like the proper, I think, cycle of a streamer would be to transfer into something more positive or something along those
Mm-hmm.
lines. Whereas a lot of the just chatting streamers we're seeing now, it's just what can be the most outlandish thing, and it leads to
It's just
people
all
doing it.
degenerate.
Yeah, and it leads to outlandish things in public places without the cameras, without the views,
Mm-hmm.
and they just become bad people. And we're
Yeah, and
seeing
you
that.
think of Enoch, and me compared to the size of those big streamers. Our impact is way less, our influence is way less. But me and Enoch still have an impact, an influence, And I like that Enoch is careful with that influence and is delicate and makes sure that he's trying to put out the best message that he possibly can to inspire and motivate, just like myself. And it's crazy to think that these streamers with the biggest influence don't realize that they're genuinely negatively impacting millions of younger Americans, and all they care about is money. And more power to them, I guess. But I like to see. That's why I've been drawn to Enoch. Enoch was the first person that hit me up when I switched to PC. I never interacted with him at all, actually. He was the very first person that I believe he DM'd me. I think we followed each other for a bit previously. This was season 12. So season 11, he must have messaged me. And nobody does that in the PC community, by the way. Why? I don't know if you're familiar with how people can be in that community. Everybody's all about themselves, and he DM'd me. I believe you were the one to reach out to me, and we never really communicated.
I can check real quick.
I think so. And he was just like, let's grind. Or I think it was also in my Twitch chat too. It was one of the two. But I do remember you coming into my Twitch chat. Yeah, I think it was Twitch chat now that I'm thinking about it, so you might not find it. But you came into my chat, and at that time I was, a lot less smaller. Did you find it? Did you find something?
Yeah, I think it was February 17th, 2022, and you said, yo, if you ever need one, just let me know. Just hit Masters.
Okay.
But I do believe that I had gone, I think that was after I believe I had gone in your Twitch chat and said oh, hey, like,
and that was crazy for me. And that was crazy for me. And so it's just like, how did I want to go about this? It's just good to see people like Enoch, even though people throw hate at everybody on the internet nowadays, regardless. But Enoch's a good man. He's a good person, genuinely, and I feel like that's why I was so drawn towards him. And maybe that's why he's drawn towards me, or maybe he's just a nice guy. He just wanted to put these console kids on because he knew how it was himself. Thank you. I appreciate that. But you were a console kid once, and maybe during your transfer, I would assume that you struggled finding teammates too. And so maybe you didn't, but like maybe you're just trying to put us console on, and I appreciate that.
Yeah, I switched over. So I played Apex for like a month, like 2 months or so on PS4 with I was playing Fortnite at the time, streaming it. Had my best friend in college. He was playing Apex with his homie. So I'd get off my Fortnite stream, play Apex on PS4 for a little bit, and then slowly started playing Apex more. Hit Pred season 3, and then swapped over in I hit Pred season 3 on PS4, but I got it into the position where I didn't have anybody to play with on PS4, didn't have anybody to play with on PC, so I just played PC and I just grinded pubs for like 2 seasons, 30K on Wraith, and then but no, I've always felt like whenever there's talented people who are going over from one platform to the other, I've always, I don't know for whatever reason why other people don't, but I always try to reach out and just see what you guys are about and read the vibe. And I'd seen some of your content, and I fuck with you as a person, and I feel like you're a good dude, and you have obviously we don't agree with each other on everything, but we are still able to be in a place where we have respect for each other regardless of that, which and again is that's a good positive example to be able to set for others. And I
agree. Yeah,
it's beautiful, man. No, it's beautiful. This is beautiful. This is why we do the show, for stuff like this. And like I said, it is really cool. Scrappy, this has been awesome so far here, and I'm sure we're gonna have you back on in the future, man, because I'd love to have more conversations about just how your progress is and also just life stuff. I feel like this interview, a lot of it happened to go into little caveats of different life things, and I'd love to have more of that on the show. So thank you so much, Scrappy.
Dude,
we've got
well, hold on. One thing I gotta say, if we're about to wrap up, is thank you for being the sensible one to call out the absolute depravity of all of these weirdos asking for softcore porn in a video game when it comes to the Loba swimsuit skin. I remember hearing your rant, and I was like, somebody fucking said it. Thank you.
There are people genuinely mad about that too. Would you want her just butt naked? They got that on the hub. If you really want it, go check that out, bro.
Hey, there's real life people out there if you really look. looking for it.
Yeah, but that too.
I mean, like,
Go
I mean,
outside. I literally said, "Go outside, damn it." Golly.
everybody's entitled to like to do their own thing, as long as they're not causing physical harm to others. But like in a video game, like, come on.
Yeah, man. I'm telling you. Remember me in 20 years, 25 years when I say this. We're screwed. We're screwed. Hopefully not, but this younger generation, man. But I would love to come on here and talk about more of this stuff, because this is what I'm passionate about too. Like Enoch, I love talking about the things that I've gone through, my failures, my successes, and how I can help maybe get you on your feet mentally, at least, and help move you in the right direction. So I love to talk about that if you guys gave me the opportunity to. And thank you for bringing me on today.
Yeah,
for
no
sure.
worries,
No,
man.
it's been a pleasure.
No, we it's awesome to have you on, man, and it's been a pleasure, and we're gonna bring you back on here pretty soon. You're definitely gonna be a recurring guest on the show. Enoch always ends the show with one question, and I'm gonna throw it down to Enoch now. Hit him with it.
All right, so we always ask people everybody who we have on the show is performing in the top 1% of the field that they're in. And you would definitely assert that, like, you would fit that bill across your Twitch, YouTube, Twitter, and then like your medical pursuits as well. What is one piece of advice that you would be able to give somebody that, regardless of the field that they were pursuing, that would be able to help them reach that top 1%? What's one thing that you've learned?
One thing that I've learned. That's a really good question. You ask this every time.
Every single time. That's my favorite. I mean, dude, just like think about all of the different people who I've had on the show, and think about all of those people, like, all have like a different insight to give into that. And it's
a good question.
I'm a fan.
It's a really good question. I might have to let it marinate a little bit. Give me.
Yeah, it can marinate. Nothing wrong with some marination. Dude, I'd be letting my packs marinate. I got like 150 something Apex packs that I just leave sitting there.
They're sitting there. They're not even marinating. They're festering now with bacteria now.
And so, dude, the main reason I have it up there is mostly just because it drives like on TikTok, especially crazy like TikTok streams. Whenever I do those, like, there's so many people that will like comment and yeah, they're like, "What about the packs? Like, what's about the packs?" And then it's like the fun and it's like, people are like, "Why does he have so many packs?" And he's like, and so in my chat, because a lot of time I won't even see it, and my chat will just be like, he has it there, so people ask about it. Because it's just like free, just.
And then one day when you're done with this, just do a huge pack opening.
Oh yeah, and then just crank it.
I feel like what my heart's telling me right now is just mental dexterity is the most important thing that you can help build towards. That can help you reach that top 1%. Aside from determination or ambition, the generic answers, those things are important. Confidence, I feel like that's a little too superficial, but like that mental strength, your mental acuity, your sharpness, just everything involving your mind and your mental ability. I think that's what separates those at the top from those at the bottom. And if I'm top 1% in Apex, personally, that's what helped me get to this level, and what's going to help me get to my level in medicine, and what's going to help me get to wherever I choose to be is because of my mental dexterity, my strength, my resilience. Life is so difficult for everybody on this earth. At any point of their lives, you're going to have highs and lows, but I feel like it's the ones that create some sort of level of stability, some baseline that's probably higher than others, that perform better in whatever field that they're in. And so it's very important to become a little bit more self-aware of your emotions and your mental state, so you're realistic with yourself and the state that you're in, what you're capable of doing in that moment. So just getting a little bit more aware of things like that, and then pushing forward no matter how difficult things may get. And that all has to do with your mind at the end of the day. I think that if you got your mind right, your heart's right, your soul's right, I think you could easily achieve a lot of the things that people, may set out to achieve. So for me personally, I would just say your mind over matter, as they say. And that's what's helped me get this far in life, because my life's been rough too. And that's helped me out a lot. So, yeah.
That's awesome, man. That is awesome. And I'm glad everybody got to hear it. And I'm glad everybody got to hear your perspective on things because not everybody has the same perspective. Actually, it seems like a lot of the people we have a very kind of straight line. Like I was saying, it's a very similar
Mhm.
perspective. And I'm glad we have somebody on who is just completely different in the way that they view the future and how they're going to approach it. So, Scrappy, thank you
Mhm.
so much for hopping on, man. You are the number one legend according to this podcast. If anybody has
Yes,
a
Number
sir.
problem,
one
you
Loba.
direct them to this
Yes,
episode.
sir.
You direct them over here. You say, hey, listen to that. That'll tell you who
Yeah,
the number one Loba is. You're the number one
exactly. Let
Loba
them
on
know.
this pod. Scrappy, thanks for hopping on. We'll catch you again soon. Thanks, man.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. Take care.
All right, ladies and gents, it is heart to heart time. Heart to heart time. Once again, shout out Scrappy for hopping on the pod. Big shout out Scrappy. Thank you for his time. He was awesome. But now it's heart to heart time. E, how are we feeling? Do you want me to go first? You to go first.
Yeah, you got that.
You got me. Okay, so now I thought last week, by the time we did this show again, I would have a child. This week looks like it's going to be the week, so I still got a lot to look forward to this week. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be a fun time. Can't wait for it. Also, I'm a little more relaxed now that we're moved in because that was weighing on my mind heavily. If I would have known the legitimate due date was the 17th, I think I would have relaxed a little bit more from last week and the weeks leading up to it. I had always thought it was the 11th. Now it's the 17th. So a lot more relaxed because I built the crib this weekend. So that's all good. All the stuff is ready for her to get home. So I'm feeling more relaxed now. I'm just focused on that day and that situation. That's going to be super super fun, and I can't wait for that. Also, took the little one out to go play laser tag with all my friends, and she dropped 38 on their heads. I'm not shitting you. She dropped fucking 38. We went to play laser tag. She dropped 38 on their head, killed them 38 times. It was insane. She was shooting me too. Every single time I turned my head around the corner, she was just shooting at me in laser tag, dominating. I think the max kills we got in our squad, one guy got 43, she had 38. Crazy. I think I only had 29. A lot of us were in the 20s, dropped 38 on our head. So I wanted to shout out my daughter's achievement of just dropping 38 on us. We're all 27-year-old men, and she destroyed us all. And we weren't like just giving it to her. Like we weren't just like like just no. We were all in there to win, and she still did that. And shout out her. Shout out her. She dominated us. So, E, your heart to heart this week.
Hmm. Hmm.
You unintentionally just
Man,
hummed the intro to Master of Puppets for anybody
what
listening.
did I?
It's a Metallica song. You unintentionally you just went hmm. I was like Master of Puppets. Anyway,
Is it
continue.
actually that's a song?
Yeah, like to the
That's fine.
intro.
I definitely that was 100%
Yeah.
just. Mm-hmm. Dude, I'm just really grateful, and I want like I know I've been talking about that, but like I need to do it more, and I need to like be more intentful. And I know that's not a word, but it should be. And I need to just need to step it up in like every area, you know? Because I mean, like I'm in a really great spot, but if I'm being honest with myself, like I could be pushing myself more, and I could be doing more, and I could be growing more, and if I can be, I should be, and I know that it's gonna get me to where I need to be, and I need to take the gratitude and take the realization that I could be doing more, and then combine them and use both of those to then get me closer instead of like being so grateful to be where I'm at. I'm not doing the things I need to do to progress, but then also at the same time, not so much fixating on the fact that I'm not where I could be that I allow that to be like a negative thing that I'm just like, oh, I'm not there, you know? And so just combining both of those and then just moving forward. And so I think that's going to be a big thing that I'm going to focus on. And I need to be stepping up and more or just like I could be doing better. I'm gonna start doing better, and yeah, that'll be it.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Well, once again, it's been a weird couple of weeks with the Apex podcast because we introduced Weeps, then he had to hit his grind. We got the baby stuff. We got all this different stuff going on, and so it's been a weird couple of weeks. Obviously, Finn leaving not that long ago, but we appreciate you guys for sticking around with us. It will start to even out soon. I promise. At some point, we're
But
gonna get a
I
little
will
bit
say,
more
I mean,
relaxed.
it's been fine. It's been
Yeah.
bangers.
No, I still think
I would
they've
say,
been great.
even
Yeah.
with all the circumstances, it's been good content.
We're walking
And
through.
I think as
the
a
fire.
duo, we're like holding this shit down. You know,
100%.
like we're taking it as it comes at us, and we're dealing with the blows as they come, and we keep on making fire content no matter what, and we're just gonna keep on doing it because we do this shit.
Yeah, at some point I would like to find some stability, and we will find it. And it's just going to take a little bit. It's going to take a little bit, and there will be an adjustment after the baby's born, obviously, and all that good stuff. But thank you guys for sticking with us. Thank you guys for riding with us as always. We're always going to hit those banger interviews like we do. Always going to hit these banger pods like we do. Thank you guys for tuning in. As always, we'll catch you guys next week for another episode of the Apex the podcast. Shout out to my dad for letting me record here tonight. See you.